Greetings, comrades, and welcome to the Rad Gaming Podcast. I'm Pescador, and in this episode of the podcast, I talk to Max. Max and I talk about Disney Plus, we go in depth about Google Stadia, and I give my honest review about Death Stranding. This episode of the podcast is sponsored by Centafiore. Centafiore is the lifestyle, is the fashion brand, and you can get all their comfortable clothing at centafiore.com. That is CENTO-FIORI.com. Also, the Rad Gaming Podcast is part of Big Heads Media. With that said, on to the podcast.
Yesterday.
Yeah. What came out yesterday?
Disney Plus, man. Yeah, so it released yesterday. You can pick it up for $7, worth $6.99 plus tax, I'm sure, a month.
Yes. Or for a year.
Or for a year for 70 bones.
Which isn't bad at all.
It's not for the titles that they have, man. Not for the titles we've been seeing. I want to see this, Mandalorian, dude. The story following the bounty hunters, man. After who do we say, Jango and Boba Fett? Yeah, yep. Dude, I'm stoked, man. And it looks graphic for Disney, man. Like, shows this bounty hunter straight up walk out the door and just shoot this stormtrooper in the dome,
straight in the face,
just straight dome shot with a laser beam.
There was like an image of stormtrooper helmets like on spears,
on spikes, yeah, dude,
which was pretty interesting. I'm actually shocked to see it kind of, but it's awesome. They're taking this kind of like adult approach, and that's exciting.
That's what we want. And we're talking about bounty hunters. Like, bounty hunters aren't going to go around not killing people. Nicely
been like, can I just shoot you in the chest, please?
Yeah, come on. Just surrender.
Yeah.
So with this, I'm going to be upset still. Back to the Fallen Order, Jedi Fallen Order, November 15th. We're going to pick it up. We're going to play that game. Why won't they have this kind of stuff in that game if they're going to have a streaming service where it's being displayed in content and videos on
So you're absolutely right about that, but what I want to suggest is it's gunshots, more or less, or
instead of lightsabers.
Well, yeah,
it's still a laser.
So they're not cutting it. At least I didn't see anyone being cut in half.
I didn't see any lightsabers.
That's what I'm saying, though. I'm saying, like, they show you can deflect or reflect kind of bullets back to people in Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. So it shows the bullet hole, like the laser hole, whatever you want to call it.
Straight to the dome ski, broski.
Yeah, it was pretty dark, but I mean the Jedi Fallen Order looks semi-dark.
I just hope that they have that. I just hope they have something similar as graphic as that was, because that was a graphic in the moment. Steps out the door, caps the dude, goes into a firefight.
Yeah,
I want that. I would prefer to be able to shoot someone than have to deflect the bullet back. Or if I have the lightsaber, I want to be able to cut someone in half.
Yeah. So
completely went away from Disney Plus launching yesterday, but
no, I'm actually really shocked that they did do something like that. I'm really shocked that they went after Boba and Jango Fett. So they're trying to get as much out of the Star Wars universe as possible, which is insane because they always try to go to that avenue, and it just blows my mind because I can't believe that they went with a bounty hunter, because it's like kind of beloved character, but yet it's kind of like a
now they can tell the story. They can give us a better, or not tell the story, but I'm sure there will be a lot of backstory in this as well. When you're watching this, I'm sure you'll hear Boba Fett's name come up. I'm sure you'll hear Jango. I'm sure that they will tell us just a better story of how the bounty hunters became to be bounty hunters and all of that stuff. I'm sure they'll tap into that.
Yeah,
which I'm sure is already in the books. Up to 10 devices too. We saw that. I think that's cool. That's a lot though, man.
10
10
and for
devices.
The cheap price of only $7 and then $70 for a year.
The entire year. Yeah, man. When we were looking at it, their content library looks pretty awesome, man. A bunch of Marvel stuff. You got The Star Wars things. Pixar's in there.
National Geographic kind of shocked me though.
Yeah.
Why?
I don't know. I guess they have their hands in National Geographic.
I didn't know that.
Wouldn't know that either. Maybe they've partnered with them. I guess it is.
I don't know. I never looked into that, to be honest. I'm going to have to look more into that because it's really interesting. I never thought that National Geographic would be on a Disney streaming platform, but it apparently is.
I'm sure they'll have a lot of cool documentaries. Planet Earth? Isn't that National Geographic?
Ooh,
no, that's the BBC.
No, it's not.
That's BBC.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I'm stoked. I'm stoked about this. Got to pick it up and just watch.
I want to watch The Mandalorian. That's the only reason why I want to pick it up, to be honest. Because
it was a series.
Then
right?
I want to see all the Avenger movies again. I have to go watch them
Dude,
again.
$6.99 to watch all of the Avengers movies is stupid. That's a stupid.
It's unreal.
It's 21 movies.
Yeah.
I burned through them in chronological order up until the end game because I'm a loser.
I've been watching Netflix though. I'll be honest. The Dark Tourist. Did you ever hear of it? It's really, really awesome. If you haven't seen it, check it out. It's New Zealand. Journalist. He goes around and kind of goes to the dark areas of the world in which people normally wouldn't travel to. But I'm saying like nuclear disaster sites and.
Why would you do that?
Just because no one goes there. And
is this a real life person, or is this a series about Is this
no?
What
it's
is
a
it?
series about
Fictional, non-fictional. Wait, which one's real?
Non-fiction is real.
Okay, so is this non-fictional or is this fictional?
It's fiction. It's fictional.
Oh. Well, then I don't care.
I'm just kidding. It's not fictional. It's an actual journalist that he goes around.
Oh, that guy's cool though. What's it called?
Was it Dark Tourist?
Dark Tourist. Go watch Dark Tourist.
Netflix.
Pescador here. Oh, we totally forgot to do the thing, man. You're watching the Rad Gaming Podcast with your host, Pescador. And I'm Max. I used to have a YouTube channel, but I kind of forgo that to do this full time.
I love how you just always lead in with that. Well, except for this time. But regardless.
It's all right. Disney streaming.
Kind of got you all worked up. I know.
It did. I jumped right into it, man. I'm pumped. It's going to be awesome, dude. Just another streaming. So Hulu, Netflix, Disney, Amazon Prime, and then whatever you use for your cable provider.
And then you also have Apple's service.
Yeah, their thing's about to drop too. Or it's already dropped. It's already dropped. Well, they're about to patch through for like Samsung TVs and some things like that they haven't done. You can also get, if you have, wherever you were listening to this, if you have Spectrum and you rent a cable box from Spectrum for like a back room, you can actually use an Apple TV to download the Spectrum app to now. You can also do it with Samsung and Roku. So those are ways that you can save yourself some money instead of renting their box for ever X amount of money. I don't know. That'll just a bit hopefully that helps. If that helped you out, let me know. I'll drop a lot more cool little hints like that.
I had no idea, to be honest.
Yeah, there you go.
So
you don't have Spectrum though.
No, I don't. Yeah, I don't have cable.
That's good. See, smart man right here. Do you have a streaming service for cable?
Do I have a streaming service?
Like I have YouTube TV.
No, I don't. I just use an antenna. I'm not gonna lie, because I never watch.
That's all you need.
TV.
That's fine. That's all you need is your local channels. But YouTube TV will give you live local. I like it. PlayStation View will give you live local.
Yeah, I use, if I ever want to watch quote unquote TV, which is really not TV. It's like old reruns of stuff. It's Pluto TV. It's free.
Yeah, Pluto TV, and then Hulu. Hulu's next day. So
yeah, I have access to Hulu. I have access to Netflix.
Now we're gonna have
Sling,
Disney,
Sling as well. But
then you do have a cable provider.
I don't. It's not mine, and I just canceled the order because I got it for my father to watch football, but he can't watch all this football.
That's right.
So that
makes sense.
Yeah.
YouTube TV. This is a little side. You guys can listen to this too, and this might help you guys out. So your dad, he should get YouTube TV, and then you can put whatever zip code you're in. Yeah. And so you could set your zip code for back home.
So you don't need to VPN. Like, so for Sling, in order for you to watch football, because he moved down to South Carolina from Pennsylvania, and he wanted to watch the Steelers play, and he wasn't able to do it because of local channels. So if there's a local channel in your area that's putting a certain football game on, it will overtake whatever game basically is going on at the same time. Yeah. So both days in a row were the Carolina Panthers playing, and he wasn't able to see the Steelers. Yeah. So in order for you to beat that, technically, and you're not supposed to do this, so I didn't say this, but I'm going to say it anyway. Okay. You're supposed to VPN into use a VPN service to make Sling think that you're in a certain area, so you can get the local, quote unquote, local channel of whatever area.
Now you can just go into your YouTube TV and switch your zip code and just set it as like your permanent place, or this is home,
residency,
right? Yeah, and then we did that. I was watching North Carolina news for a while when I moved down here because that's what I'd been watching at Bragg.
Oh, I know.
Yeah, so. Disney service, Disney Streaming Plus. Back to it. I guess we should know this. Is it monthly content coming out? Is that what we said?
I would assume so.
Monthly
They'd
content?
have original content as well coming out.
Original content, monthly content. All the Star Wars spinoffs are going to be there. I'm sure there'll be a lot of
Disney
Marvel.
movies.
Sure, a lot of Marvel spinoffs will be there too. Probably Agents of Shield. I would think
I'm sure
Agents of Shield's going to go from Netflix.
I know that they pulled the Punisher off of Netflix and stuff like that. So
get it on Disney, I'm sure.
yeah, I'm super sad, but I love the Punisher. But now I'm gonna have to get it. And I can watch whatever.
Punisher, yeah. All the Disney, like you said, all the Disney movies.
So
streaming, man.
Yeah, talking about streaming. I know you wanted to talk about this topic in general.
It's coming out, man. Google Stadia, man. November 19th, we finally get this ability to stream directly off the internet to your device if it's supported and playing video games. This is going to be awesome for those people that have if your PlayStation is all the way full and you don't have any room to download any games.
Which is funny because I actually had to delete a game because I had to download Death Stranding.
There you go. See?
Yep.
Now, through Google Stadia, you might not have that problem if the Google Stadia offers the game that you want.
Yeah, that's true.
You'll be able to just stream 4K on your television. So all those gamers. You also have other selective platforms, tablets. Tablet, Google Chromecast, cell phones, computers, where you can just download through Google Play and play your video games. There was a couple additions that they came out with that were, they had the Founders Edition. If you didn't get the Founders Edition, you didn't really miss much. The biggest thing I saw from that was that you had the ability to gift 3 free months to someone for them to play it. And then after that, you go down to $10 a month, regardless of whichever one you have. That was the real big thing that I saw. Also, the way that they're sending these games out for people is they're doing it kind of like a first come, first serve. So just because you purchased or pre-ordered the Founders Edition, whenever this launches on the 19th, it doesn't mean that you're going to already have your controller and your Google Chromecast Ultra to play with. So if you've ordered it, you may not get it in time to play it on the 19th, but they're doing it kind of first come, first serve. So if you don't have the Founders Edition, or if you didn't pre-order it, you can still go on and pre-order the premium, the Stadia Pro Premium Starter Kit. And what that's going to do is that's going to give you that controller, which we'll talk about in a minute. It's going to give you the Google Chromecast Ultra so that you can hook it right up to your TV. The controller will also be Wi-Fi. They'll hook up together, and now you can stream on your television. You get 3 free months. After that, it drops down to $10 a month. Right from the get-go when this comes out, we're going to have 31 different games that you can play from 21 different platforms.
Which is
publishers.
Unreal. That they have a ton.
It's insane.
That's for a launch too. That's really good.
It's right out the gate, man. It's they're going to have we got some of these titles here. Some of the bigger ones are going to be Assassin's Creed Odyssey, Division 2, NBA 2K20, Borderlands 3, the Tomb Raider, all of them that had the Rise of the Tomb Raider, Shadow of the Tomb Raider, and the Tomb Raider Definitive Edition, Destiny 2, Red Dead Redemption 2 as well. And so these are all games that I didn't really play the Division 2. I played Division 1.
Division 2 is pretty good.
Big but I would play Borderlands. I played the Tomb Raiders. Destiny 2 is going to be on there, and then Red Dead Redemption 2, which is.
We need to get back in playing that, to be honest. I miss it. I like that.
Little side tangent. Yeah, at the same time, the horses just don't do it for me, man. I don't know.
Just got to get a faster horse.
Maybe that's what it is.
More stamina. That's what you need.
Maybe that's what's going on. I mean, it was a good game. I like the game. So, in order to stream some of these games, let's talk about this. You're going to need at least 10 megabytes per second download speeds to game at 720. The next step is going to be 20 megabytes per second to game at 1080p. And then if you have 35 megabytes minimum download speed, you'll be able to game at that 4K with the 60 frames, which is awesome, man. I'm pretty excited.
Yeah, I'm kind of concerned about latency. Mm-hmm. I know that we watched a video on how they plan to combat latency. Yeah, which is all good, and they said that they have an algorithm basically from their data, their servers to the consumer, and it basically figures out where it technically is, the latency. So it makes the user switch to that particular pattern so it doesn't show the latency.
Yeah.
Which is all well and good. It sounds great, but it's the fact, like, I want to see it carried out. I'm a little nervous about the fact that because there's going to be a lot of people going to these dedicated servers, and I understand that they have a ton of different areas in which that they will have these servers, but there's going to, like, I mean, this is a great idea. So it's only $10 too, but yet you don't technically own the game. You need to buy them.
That is correct. Yeah. So they came out, and so this isn't like Netflix. Whenever you buy Google Stadia and you start opting into their premium service, you get your controller so that you can play on your TV if that's the route you want to go. You expect to buy the games. You're not going to be renting the games. They do eventually want to make a back catalog of free games. I guess maybe they'll start doing like what PlayStation does with the PlayStation Plus, where they say, hey, this is a free game if you have PlayStation Plus. So maybe they'll start doing that and then stacking those as you go. But you have to purchase the game, and they're going to be the same retail price. So essentially, do you want to pay $130 to play Destiny 2 on November 19th, on streaming it because you don't have the room on your PlayStation or whatever the case may be?
Yeah.
Because it's going to be the same retail price. So $130 to get the product, and then that one's you'll be able to play.
So I understand from what I read in an article, I should say. They were saying that they will give you the capabilities to get discounts on games, like big name games.
Okay.
But like you said, technically they'd have to buy the game in order to stream the said game.
Yeah, you have to buy them. So the only thing there that sucks is that if you already own the game, I think you have to repurchase it through Google. So if you own Borderlands 3 downloaded to your PlayStation and you go and you get the Google Stadia, I don't think you have the ability to say, like, I purchased this game and I want to be able to play it wherever. I think you have to actually purchase through Google Stadia.
I know that Destiny allows you to transfer your character into whatever, like, I know I can save it on the PC, my character, and pick that character up again on the console.
But is that if you... Well, right, we're talking right now. We're not talking about
Destiny 2, yes.
Yeah, so what I'm talking about is for you to be able to play anywhere with Google Stadia. If you wanted to stream in 4K on your cell phone,
I'm just saying that,
I think you have to repurchase the game.
You're going... I would assume that you'd have to, just because they can't coordinate that with...
Who wants to do that? Now, there are a lot of other titles. Mortal Kombat 11 was in there. I saw that title as well. So there are a lot of really cool titles that if you don't have the game,
soon to come titles too.
Yeah. I'm sure.
Like, this every big name one. I mean, Marvel's Avengers. They had.
Yeah, we saw that. It's going to be there.
Cyberpunk 2077. So, I'll say it again because I love Cyberpunk 2077. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's cool, man. It's a cool thing. It's also pushing and forcing some of the other launchers to start streaming as well. Valve wants to stream. I'm sure Rockstar will come out with some form of streaming. You can already stream PlayStation or GTA 5. I streamed it on my PlayStation through PlayStation Plus. I just streamed it because I wanted to play in first person. I've never played that game in first person, but it's really fun.
Yeah, I have.
Yeah, so I did that. I streamed it. So PlayStation's already doing some stuff like that. So I'm sure Rockstar Games will do some stuff like that. Valve is going to do some stuff like that. I'm sure Origins will do some stuff like that. Steam.
So it's funny you mention Valve, though, because Steam database, they actually monitor and track changes in Steam and Valve's games. They noticed a new code on Valve basically saying that they're, they're basically asking people to agree to their terms and conditions for the Steam Cloud Gaming Addendum.
Okay. Yeah,
so they're going to, it seems like they're hinting at actually starting their own streaming service and we'll start streaming, which is huge. I'm assuming that you could use whatever Steam games you have currently in your library and stream them. Because if they don't, I'm going to be super upset. Yeah, I'm going to have tons of games.
I was going to say, also, you're not going to... I'm assuming you wouldn't purchase the stream service if they make you buy all your games.
Yeah, I would seriously... I'm just saying.
This also, and I always say it if you guys are listening to the podcast, this also means that soon, GameStop's got to have to fucking catch up too.
You and GameStop, man. I'll tell you,
it's a dying breed, man.
They'll adapt and change.
Netflix crushed Blockbuster.
That is true. They did. That Redbox.
Yeah. Well, Redbox is actually still going strong.
They are.
Redbox has a streaming service too, though. You can download the Redbox. You can download and rent and stream.
Adapt.
Improvise, adapt, and overcome, man.
That's what they say, right?
Hey, happy Veterans Day to any of those veterans. It was on the 11th. And then happy birthday, Marines. We just passed their birthday, too. Sorry, I just got that on the brain.
Yeah, man. I'm sorry. I forgot to tell you that, man. It's my fault.
It's okay.
I forgot. Yeah. No, but I know we were talking about Valve. Valve is actually making moves. And I'm actually really shocked. Not shocked. I was anticipating them to make moves in general. But the Epic Games Store, the launcher in general, they have taken a huge chunk out of the Steam Store as of recently, just because I know a lot of companies are switching over to publishing their stuff on the Epic Games Store. And it was only a matter of time before Steam needed to do something to strike back. It seems like they're coming out with a streaming service. It seems like they're working on the AR headset with Apple.
Yeah,
like we said in the last podcast.
Augmented reality.
Yeah, and that's awesome.
Yeah,
because
I want to see specs. I want to see all of the.
And we will go over them.
We will. We
in the
sure
podcast.
Will.
And
right here, same bat time, same bat channel.
Yeah, exactly. No, I'm pumped to go through that. I'm excited to see what other moves Steam's going to have, because that can't be all. It's not really pulling in the game devs. So I'm excited to see what they're going to bring to the table in the next few months. I can only imagine.
Yeah, it's just really crazy how we're restarting all of this streaming stuff. I want to give a shout out real quick to Sega. Sega's just been ahead of its time so many different times. I talked about this on one of the first podcasts that we did together, the Sega Channel, which was very similar to a Netflix service for games. You hooked up your 56K modem into the back of your Sega Genesis. You had your little cartridge, and then as you logged in, I want to say it was every week, maybe it was every month. You had a selection of games that you could just click on and play.
Yeah, and
so we're just right back at that. It's kind of a rebranding of that, but Sega did it way back in the 90s. And then also with the Gamecast, man. Sega came out with the Gamecast, dual thumbsticks, and one of the biggest things was the memory card had like a little face on it. You could take your memory card around with you, and it was just ahead of its time, man. I'd been interested to see that.
Do you remember taking your games over to your friend's house with your memory card, for your PlayStation stuff? Mm-hmm. Oh man.
Yeah, man.
Those were the days.
Man.
You just be like, oh man, I played GTA all day, Vice City or something like that. I'll be like, I'll take my memory card over to my friend's house and play it over there.
That's awesome. Yeah. So shout out to Sega. You guys were way ahead. I'd like to see Sega come back and do some stuff. Although I know they're still a company, but it'd be cool if they came out with could you imagine if Sega just dropped another game console, just out of nowhere? Like, hey, we're going to drop the Sega, I don't know, Jupiter, because they had Sega Saturn. I don't know. It's like a Sega Sun.
Sega Galaxy.
The Sega Galaxy, and it's just a new console by Sega. Sega, make another console. I want some more Shenmue.
Sonic the Hedgehog.
Dude, could you imagine playing Sonic the Hedgehog, like golden Sonic the Hedgehog?
With teeth?
Dude. Whatever happened to that movie? Have we seen they were supposed to redo him?
They redid it, and people liked the remake of what Sonic's supposed to look like, the portrayal of Sonic.
Did they come out with? I never saw it.
I don't know.
I stopped looking. I was pretty excited to see it, but then it shows him throw a ring and he jumps through it like a portal, and it was weird. I just remember that in the.
I was never into it, to be honest. I don't really like Sonic the Hedgehog. I like the game,
okay,
but I didn't
no. People are about to watch me just slap. Okay.
No. I like Sonic the Hedgehog. That's why I even mentioned it when you said that. But I wasn't really into the movie. I don't really like movies they do from the games like that.
I like the thought of Jim Carrey playing Dr. Robotnik.
I do too. I wonder if
it was cool.
I'll have to look up after the podcast and see if it actually came out or if it's.
I know it definitely didn't come out. If it came out, I would know about that. But I haven't heard anything about it since they were going.
Yeah, no, I haven't. Obviously, I haven't heard anything because I had no idea if it even came out yet. I'm not even looking into it, to be honest. I just know of it.
That's fair. That's fine.
Yeah, but all right. I'm excited to talk about this.
Please,
man, I got my hands on Death Stranding, and I know that we've talked about this on the podcast. And I'll be the first to admit that I was wrong about Death Stranding.
He said it. You guys heard him.
I did, yes.
He was wrong.
I was wrong. So last podcast, we talked about how there was reviews from IGN and a few other places that said that the gameplay to this was extremely frustrating, very tedious, pretty boring playstyle. And I will be the first to say that this doesn't seem like the type of game that I would normally pick up and play, but I did, and I actually enjoyed it.
Mm-hmm.
And there were some parts that I was a little, hesitant on just throughout the gameplay. So, for instance, the very beginning of the game, the story is heavy. There's not very much gameplay. They go into a lot of story, backstory, and kind of like a present-day story about the main character, Sam, which is played by Norman Reedus. And it's just extremely in-depth. So they kind of throw a lot of terms at you, like BTs, BBs, Doom. Like they throw a lot of concepts at you, and it's very tough. You need to pay attention to the storyline because the storyline is important. But there's not a lot of gameplay in the very beginning. There's just a lot of cutscenes. Mm-hmm. So with that said, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I've only played about five hours of the game, I'd say. So I'm not very deep into the game, but from what I gathered from the game, the whole point of this game is to connect society. So they have the United States, and it is just in pieces, basically. And Norman Reedus' job, basically, is to connect those areas that are still alive, that still has parts of humanity, or pockets of humanity, if you will.
Okay.
And there are the Death Stranding, or they call them the BTs in the game, mm-hmm. which are beached things, they call them. And the reason why they call them, from what I've read, they're called beached things. Mm-hmm. And the reason why they call them beach things is there's a concept of there's this black sea that they come out of, like a almost like a black water, and they come up and basically pull people into this death realm, is like where their final resting place is. And the reason why that they're on the Earth right now is because those beings, those entities, are stranded there. So hence Death Stranding. BTs or beach things, they're not in the sea of the dead, basically. They are on the land, stranded for...
Like stuck in like a limbo?
Yeah, like a limbo kind of thing almost. But I
said limbo. Limbo.
I knew what you meant.
Yeah.
But no, so as the time goes on, you start to realize that your character is important. He is a specific individual that is a courier, and he... basically is undying in the sense that he can be kind of reborn again. And it's a very lackadaisical term when I say that, but it's I haven't really got into that part yet. But he's just a specific type, or I forget what the term they use. I can't remember off the top of my head. But anywho, if people, like an actual person, dies in this realm, they eventually turn into the BTs, and it takes time after they die for them to do this, so that they cremate the bodies in order for them to technically not become that thing. Mm-hmm. If they don't get them to a spot to cremate them, they actually kind of just explode and create this giant crater. And in this crater, there is like a giant BT, like a giant creature. And it's the weirdest thing. I've seen it happen in the beginning part of the game. It's just like a giant thing mm-hmm. that appears, and it just creates this giant crater and just destroys basically everything in that area.
Yeah.
So
I still don't. So from what I saw you play of it, I still don't think I like it, man. Watching you from when I first got here today, and I was watching you play, and you're like, you went to your map screen. You're like, I started here, and I got to go here. And I'm like, you're like, and I'm here. And I was like, oh, cool. How long have you been like running? And you're like, about 10 minutes. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. And then we start playing, or you start playing. I'm watching. And then like, I don't know, another 10 minutes goes by, and you like pull up your map. You're like, cool. Now I'm here. I still have to go all the way over here. And I'm just like, all right. So we're saying like another 10 minutes. But then you run into a couple people that are like trying to hurt you. So I would say all in all, man, I watched probably about 40 minutes of it. And it was just you walking through the grass and down some things. You fought 2 people.
3
people.
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
Something like that.
So that's right there, man. That for me is too... I mean, as the game progresses, and maybe the story is what really hooks you in and says, okay, this 35-minute trek across this environment, And whenever you start picking up weapons and you start picking up guns and stuff, I'm sure I'll see. And maybe I'll just borrow this from you and play it a little bit too. And just, but after everything that was talked about it, and after I saw those reviews, and then even after seeing you play it today, I feel let down. Because I was so like, and I had like, again, I'm saying this without playing it, but I've seen, like, I remember watching it, I remember seeing it with you, and I'm just super let down.
See, and I'm not.
It's not picking up fast.
It's like, so I understand that it's so story driven in this game. Like, I've been wanting a story driven game, and this story is super in depth. There's a lot going on. There's a lot of character development going on, and I really enjoy that. And if you get immersed in this story, that's what sells the game to you. It's not so much the gameplay. I really enjoy. Like, if they made it into a movie, I would go see the movie. It's a really good movie, but it's the story that really sells this game.
Yeah, but you said you played for 5 hours today, and I know 35 to 40 minutes of that was just walking.
Yeah, that's true.
That's what I watched. I didn't see any cutscenes. I didn't see any. I didn't get to see you go to any merchants. I didn't get to see you upgrade any of your stuff or talk to any. I didn't see any of the story play out. I watched for about 40 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, like
that's
I'm saying,
a lot.
There's so much that there's so much that you don't see that because you weren't in the beginning part of the game.
And I'm sure that plays a huge part in it, which makes sense.
So, like, okay, for instance, the rain is called timefall, is what they refer to it as. It's basically aging that happens when the rain touches things. Mm-hmm. So the crates that you carry on your back, they actually start to age, they start to rust. If your skin is open to the rain, you start to age and start to deteriorate, basically. And it's extremely neat to see like parts of the games because you don't see people like players like different players play the same on this. I'm assuming it's a server that carries all this information, and people play on it, and they can alter the
landscape.
Thank you. By building bridges, putting ladders down.
I saw you go down that ladder and then move the ladder over so you could go up.
Yeah, which is awesome. Because you don't see them there, but they can change things for you to make it easier or to make it harder.
Yeah, but I also see like going forward now, right? So I saw that earlier, and you're like, I didn't build this bridge. It shows, and it told you who built it, right?
Yes, which is really cool.
But going forward now into the game, and as you progress, I feel like a lot of the experience that you would get from the game, even though a lot of it's just walking around, will go away because whenever you get to a hard part that you need to get across, someone's already built a bridge for you.
That's true, and it's
so
not.
Now
it's
when
not
you're
on all parts, though.
Now when you're scavenging,
yeah,
scavenging. You're less likely to pick up certain items that you need to build certain items because there's just bridges on everything.
And I'm wondering if it's like the same, like they're in the same part or same progression as you that they maybe put you in. So like maybe once they get past a certain point in the game that you are, their stuff that they've built thus far is gone. Maybe. I don't know how that works.
I don't know.
I haven't gotten that far. I haven't read too much about that part of the game. But what I'm really shocked about is the fact that they go into so much detail that like going into the barracks to kind of sleep and things like that really regains your stamina, your baby. So like the baby that you have strapped to your stomach, it does see the BTs that are out in the world. And it can be drained, so it won't be able to see those things after it's drained. So you have to go back and recharge that. There's a lot of detail that goes into this game that I'm actually really impressed with. Mm-hmm. But like at the same time, there is a lot of detail, and the stumbling can be annoying. I know there's been times that I needed to get across like a big giant river, basically, and I'd get swept away in it because you lose stamina as you walk across it, and you have to balance yourself. And if you go slow across this river, you will get swept away and you lose all your stuff. Yeah. And it just floats down the river, and you might as well say goodbye to it because it's so tough to get back to it. So I mean, there are frustrating parts. I don't think that navigating through the BTs, because you have to hold your breath and crouch when you go near them because they're based off of sound. Mm-hmm. They can't technically see you. They can hear you. So, like, if you're running by them, they'll be able to attack you, and you kind of go into this weird, like, it's not cinematic, I guess, but it's like a sea of black goes around you, and, like, these, like, creatures start trying to pull you into the ocean of
darkness.
Yeah, basically. But, like, I feel like it was very, I played it on a normal to kind of get through it really quickly. Yeah. and it seemed very easy to fight them off unless you have a crap ton of weight on you. Then I had a really tough time fighting them off, but it didn't seem that scary in a sense that like I didn't feel like I was going to be outmatched by this creature. I just kind of outran it half the time, and I was just fine.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, I like the story. I think that's what really sold me this game.
It's got to be.
I'm not saying
the premise behind it looked really cool. Like all the research I did on it, it looked like, and it had a really good cast, really good lineup for the voice actors and stuff. But even after watching you play it today, and after that one review that I saw, and I guess I haven't played it. So like you're even saying too, you're saying things like, you know, if your baby loses juice or whatever this thing is, your baby juice runs out, you got to go back to get more baby juice. That is when you say I got to go back to get more baby juice, like we're talking like 45 minutes from where you are to get the baby juice to get back to where you are, and then I don't know, man. I need so back to Red Dead Redemption, right? That's what I was saying about Red Dead Redemption is like the horses aren't fast enough. You know, when you want to go someplace, it's like, all right, let's travel halfway across.
Typical millennial. You want things now. No, I'm just kidding. No, I understand it, dude. It makes sense because there are parts. Maybe you're trying to get slapped today, just man. Just kidding. No, but the gameplay, it can be slow at times. It can be tedious at times. There's a lot of times that you have to crouch past these things when you have barely any stamina, and basically you end up you had probably 15 to 20 minutes where it should take you maybe 5 to walk past these, and you're trying to navigate through this field of BTs. It's very tough and very tedious.
And very time consuming.
Yes, it really is. But I mean, like I said, I haven't played the whole game.
Yeah.
I wouldn't, but with all this said, I still wouldn't buy it.
Okay.
I would like to, Redbox. Is the way to go, in my opinion,
Google
I guess.
Stadia. It's not. Yeah. Was it coming up for Google? No, it wasn't. It was
not that I know. It wasn't. No, because it's a PlayStation exclusive. Mm-hmm. But no, I would not. I personally it's a fun game so far. I like it. I probably don't know. I mean, I wouldn't replay it as of right now. I'd have to play more to see if I get really invested in the game. I beat The Last of Us. I'd love to play that game again.
Yeah.
The story was fantastic. The gameplay was quick and fluent. I really enjoyed it. This game it's very long. The cutscenes can be extremely long. The dialogue can be long. Even the gameplay can stretch on and on. In my talking about it, can stretch on and on.
On and on.
Yes. But I would definitely just pick it up. If you want to check it out, just check it out. It's worth checking out.
Yeah, Redbox. Go snag a copy. See what you think.
Yeah.
I do want to play it still. You know what I really want to play though? Jedi.
Yes.
Fallen Order, man. The 15th. We're almost there. That game I'll pick up probably.
So a couple days.
A couple days, man.
We will pick it up and play it and give you guys our honest review about it.
I'm hoping it's awesome.
I hope so too. I hope I can get more than 5 hours into a game because, I like to give someone a better synopsis of a game.
No, I mean I feel like we got the main gist. Other than the weapons that you get,
yes,
and the vehicles that you get,
yep,
and then the snowy part that you get to eventually somewhere farther down that we know about. Other than that, those three things, I think you got the gist of the game.
No, but this game is extremely long. I'll be honest, right too, because I was reading somewhere it said that there's different I don't know if they're called chapters or whatever, but there's from what I've seen, and people said that there's 14 chapters, and they said they played hours and hours, and they've gone to chapter 4, and it's 14 or something. I don't know what the real numbers are or whatever it is, but they say the game is just extremely long.
Yeah, well, that's good, man. If it progresses and it's not.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe on chapter 15. I said 14 out of 15.
You also said you don't know the numbers, so on chapter 19, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, so maybe farther down the road, it just becomes this amazing game that's very fluent and you just...
Yeah, but now I'm curious as to, does the game... this is a really long game because there's 14 chapters, but is it only really long because it takes you 45 minutes to get from one point to another point that's not very far on the map? Making the game draw on.
Well, not only that, like I said, it's the dialogue that's extremely long. There's a lot of things that go into this, and you have to pay attention to it because you can't be just you know what, I'm just gonna let this cutscene go, and I'll just skip through it real fast. You have to understand the story to really appreciate the game. Because like even like there would be some times that I actually missed some things because I had to do something around the house, and I wanted to pay attention to the storyline, but I physically couldn't.
Yeah.
Like I'm like, dang it! So I had to read up about it again because I honestly didn't know. Like,
that's what's up.
So,
yeah, man. How do you like the voice acting and is it on par? Do you like Norman Reedus' character?
Yeah, no, he's Norman Reedus. Like, it's just who he is. So, like, if you can envision Norman Reedus in Walking Dead, like, that's just who he is as this character, Sam.
That's cool. I like it.
The graphics are phenomenal.
Yeah.
They look beautiful. Every cutscene is fantastic. Even playing like just straight gameplay is really beautiful.
Nice.
The landscape is gorgeous. I haven't like the fighting mechanics are like just because you have a lot of weight on you, it's very tough to tell. Because
you can tell you're sluggish.
Yeah,
like, you tell
as you add more weight.
I should have just taken the controller from you and played.
You should have.
I should have. I didn't. Maybe next time.
Yeah, no,
I'm joking.
Jedi Fallen Order.
Oh, I can't wait. I want to play that game, man. I want to play that game. I want to get, dude. And I bet when you get 5 hours into that game, you're like way farther than you are in.
I'm sure. But then again, like I feel like this is gonna be a good story. But I don't think it's gonna be as detailed of a story as Death Stranding, just because this game is like, I don't know, the epitome of like story-driven game. Like this is just a straight story game.
That's what's up. I'm all about it, man. Yeah, I'll give it a shot and we'll see. Ready for Fallen Jedi. Jedi Fallen Order.
Yeah, no, it's gonna be great.
66.
I do not know, Master. No, I'm super excited for it. We will get our hands on that, and we will give our honest opinion and review about that.
And thanks for listening to this episode of the Rad Gaming Podcast. Be sure to rate and subscribe to us on iTunes, Spotify, or anywhere else you listen to podcasts. I release a new episode every Wednesday. And as always, stay rad, comrades.